Hello, I'm Kevin Benedict, Senior Vice President of Solutions Strategy, and this is my program, Deep Dive with Kevin Benedict.
Excellent.
So I want to welcome as guest today, Jackie Palmer from SAP Customer Experience. Jackie, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Kevin. I really enjoy being here.
We're here live this week in Barcelona at SAP's Customer Experience Live event.
Indeed.
It's big, it's happening, it's jam-packed sessions, and rooms are a lot of buzz and excitement going on.
There's a lot of noise going on in the background.
And you're right in the middle of that. Why don't you share with the audience that perhaps is not familiar with your role? What is your role and what do you get to do?
Excellent. So thanks, Kevin, for having me. I am a Vice President of Solution Management for the SAP Marketing Cloud. And what I do in my role is I really look out at all of the different things that we could be doing with Marketing Cloud and look for different areas that we want to improve upon. What do we want to be when we grow up? What's our vision? What's our strategy? Where do we want to go? And meet the needs of our customers and also our future customers as well. So can we get ahead of what the future is bringing to us and to our customers?
So you were on stage yesterday doing a demo, and I was able to participate in that and watch that. One of the things I was particularly impressed with was how much kind of artificial intelligence is going on behind the scenes
Absolutely.
now in the SAP's Marketing Cloud. Talk to us about some of that.
Great, and thanks for asking about that because it's really critical to the sort of value proposition of the Marketing Cloud. It's built on intelligence. We leverage the HANA database platform as our key platform, and what that does is it brings to bear a whole bunch of analytics that come built into the system. So anything from sentiment analysis using text-based analytics to buying propensities, to a whole host of different scores that we deliver, and as well leveraging the SAP Leonardo platform, we've been putting into place a lot of machine learning around smart target groups, so identifying segments and target groups that you might want to target in a future campaign that you might not have as a human thought of yourself. Or some of the things that we just recently released and announced are models for lead conversion propensity to identify your hottest leads, the ones with the most likelihood of converting to an opportunity. And then another model for what we call customer churn or customers at risk to identify those top value customers that are existing customers, so they're not acquiring new customers, but these are existing customers at risk of churning, and therefore you might be losing your ones with the highest lifetime value, and you have a risk of potentially having to then go find a new customer that's more expensive. Everybody always knows it's more expensive to get a new customer than it is to retain an existing customer. So we're building in a lot of these Leonardo machine-based learning models to help our customers and the marketers with that.
And I'm sure if you're a marketer out there, each of these things that Jackie's just talked about, I mean, these are critical to our business.
Yeah.
You know, instead of leaving it up to your new marketer to decide how valuable a lead is.
Yeah.
I mean, this is going after pattern recognition.
It is.
Machine learning that says if an account looks this way, behaves this way,
or doesn't behave this way,
or doesn't behave this way,
non-action.
That represents somebody that's not going to renew a subscription,
right,
because they're not using the product. We can see when they're logging in or not logging in. We can see they bought this many licenses, but they're not using those licenses.
Exactly.
All of those things are the difference between success and failure.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because if you look at the full journey of a customer from research to then buying to then using a product or a service to then sort of starting all over again because they're disenchanted or they're disillusioned with the product or maybe they're still enjoying it, but then starting all over again with that full cycle, we've now got machine learning that takes the marketer and gives them the ability to target at each point of that cycle their customers in the right way and identifying the right customers to focus on for those marketing moments.
And when we look at the journey or the digital transformation journey of most marketing departments, it was kind of the traditional marketing with email blasts and all these kinds of things. But now with GDPR and all that, we're having people opt in. Trust is becoming a bigger deal.
Trust is huge, and there's two sort of aspects to trust. One is obviously, just as you were mentioning with the GDPR, trust between the consumer or customer and the marketer or company. But it's also, I think, is just as important as trust between the marketing department and the rest of the organization. What we've also seen is that the marketing department is becoming sort of a center of that customer experience, really because they have so many interactions with the customers, both on the acquisition side as well as on the future engagement side and retention side. The marketing department needs to be trusted by the organization as well and become that trusted source of business within the organization.
Well, you guys are going to be the intellectual hub because you're monitoring from the very beginning where you recognize somebody might want to be a prospect through their whole sales process and sales journey.
Right.
To bringing them on and onboarding them, and are they being trained right to utilization of your product, to continuing the services part of it.
And then recognizing if they're not using the product anymore, how can you save them before you lose that potentially valuable customer?
So, marketing used to be this whole front end to that story, and then it stopped. Everything else was invisible.
Exactly.
Now marketing has moved to being a central part of the entire experience.
And I think the way that it's changed is, really the customers have been inspiring us to change and sometimes forcing us to change, right? Because of the way that they're demanding to be interacted with, right? So the customers are wanting to be engaged in a way that is trustful and that is meaningful and that is driven off of relevant moments to them. And the marketers have all of this information about the customers that they're using in a privacy-centric way, but they can, build those conversations, really build those interactions, those moments of interaction with the customer.
Wow.
And drive that relationship. And that happens, like I said, on that full customer journey. And now it doesn't stop anymore at just acquiring that customer. You have to continue and build that full journey in.
So those of you that are living in this data-filled world recognize that in order to accomplish this dream that SAP customer experience has, you need to have visibility to the data up and down that stack.
Yes.
From the very beginning of meeting the customer to the end of their life cycle there. And if you have gaps in that, you're failing to have full visibility into there, and it's going to impact your the ability to trust marketing, that they know what they're talking about.
And that's really the C4 HANA story, which is that full connection between all aspects of the front office and then also connecting the back office. So the marketing department is actually in the hub and the center of being able to connect the sort of back-end transactional data with the front office interaction data.
So let's compare that SAP customer experience dream of what that stack should look like with what a lot of people have out there that might have went best of breed. How do you compete against what they're doing out there when they don't have one platform, they have a bunch of different siloed solutions?
I mean, you can do it, right? But it's just more difficult if it's not a suite and if it's not, out of the box sort of talking to each other in the same languages, right?
Okay.
It's just like sort of using Google Translate. You can do it, but you'd have to translate each little word or sentence that you see versus somebody that is fluent in whatever language that is.
Oh, very good. Now, another important part of your business is looking forward.
Yes.
So here's a question to you. Do you find Henry Ford was famous for this quote that if you ask the customers, they'd want faster horses,
exactly.
Right? Now, are you having to lead customers to where they can go, or do customers get it?
So I think what we've been watching is the desires of the end consumers rather than looking only at what the marketer wants.
Okay.
Because I think that would be a bit of the Henry Ford scenario. Yeah. The marketer would just want a better way to send out more and more email.
Okay.
The customers don't want the better way to receive more and more email, right? They want those intelligent interactions. And so what we've been looking at is really more customer trends, and we've got some data out there with our customer propensity surveys and things like that sort of give us information about where the customers want their businesses and the brands they interact with to go, and we're sort of trying to meet that need and get ahead of that as well.
Oh, that's exciting. Yeah, there was a couple case studies that were shown on stage yesterday. One, what was it? Bavarian beer?
Swinkle's Family Breweries, the Bavaria
Swinkle's
beer,
Family Brewery where there was personalization and contextual relevance going into being able to recommend the best beer that somebody might like based on.
Swinkles is a really interesting story
Yeah.
because they're traditionally a B2B company.
Yeah.
They sell cases of beer to stores that then end up selling those bottles of beer or whatever.
And they don't always have visibility to that end customer.
And they don't have visibility of that end customer. What they've been transforming is they've been transforming themselves into a consumer-centric organization as well, and really trying to reach out to that customer and intelligently learn what kind of beer they should be brewing, maybe
Yeah.
a new product introduction, based on what the consumers are and the tastes and the interests of the consumers. And so they're really trying to make that connection to their customer as well. I thought that was a really interesting case study that we had on stage.
Absolutely. So, looking forward,
Yes.
what are the areas of development that you're most excited to see, that are kind of being prototyped or in labs right now?
There's a lot around optimization. So optimization of sort of your marketing resources and automating a lot of the processes that maybe marketers do today manually. That's optimization from both an execution perspective, but also sort of identifying what are the right types of campaigns to be even focusing on. So there's a lot of things that we're trying to help the marketers out with, not to be big brother or sort of the machine is controlling everything, but suggesting to the marketer and putting tools in their hands to let them be better marketers.
Wow. Well, that's powerful, Jackie.
That's exciting.
This has been an action-packed 2 days for you. It's
Yes.
winding down. I think you have one more interview.
We're almost
and
at that
then
party hour.
You can close the book on SAP CX Live here in Barcelona.
It's been a great week.
All
It
right.
really has.
So thank you for joining us. I want to thank all of you for watching.
Thanks, Kevin, for having me.